Welcome to part two of our webinar about coronavirus money help. In this part, we're going to be talking about the help that you can get if you're struggling with money going out. So mortgage payments, rent payments, bill payments, things like that. So we're going to talk about, I'm trying to talk about like what are the biggest ones, which are the ones that really make a huge difference to affordability in our lives. And the key one for most people is mortgage payments and rent payments. What we have is a situation where if you are a homeowner, then you can ask your bank if you can take a 3-month mortgage payment holiday. So effectively, that would allow you to stop paying your mortgage for up to 3 months. You don't have to take the full 3 months. You can also speak to your bank about maybe just reducing the amount of mortgage payments that you make for the next little while. And again, because all of this is brand new, each bank is trying to work out what they're doing. They're working out exactly what offers they're making available to their customers. They're working out exactly how you apply for it. So I would say again, phone lines are very, very busy. Check online if you can about what information your bank is making available to you. But generally, the options are 3-month mortgage payment holiday or reducing the amount that you pay. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that isn't the bank saying to you, okay, you don't have to pay those 3 months ever. Unfortunately, you are still going to have to pay that back at some point. It's just giving you a little break. And so the way that we expect it to work with most banks is that they will let you take the 3 months off or pay a reduced amount for the 3 months and then add whatever's remaining to the total that you owe. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that what that will do is mean that you're going to have to pay interest on that total amount for a little bit longer. So it's going to effectively extend the term of your mortgage by another 3 months. And so for some people, that is going to mean, for most people, unless you're due to pay off your mortgage very quickly, for most people that's going to mean that the total amount that you have to repay over the whole 25 years, 15 years of your loan will increase, because you're going to be effectively pushing that 3-month payment holiday over the rest of the time of your mortgage. So you can expect to pay possibly up to a few £1,000s more in total over the lifetime of your mortgage. So what I would say is that if you're thinking of taking this mortgage holiday, only do it if you need to, because you are going to be paying more in total over the total life of the loan. So it's not something to just be done lightly. It's something to be done if you actually need it. And then if you are renting, so renting feels like it's less certain. We don't automatically in the UK get a 3-month rental holiday. So you're going to have the conversation with your landlord. And on the Lifetise site, I have put a suggested template that you can use if you're emailing or speaking to your landlord about asking them either to reduce your rent or for giving you a payment holiday. Now, if landlords are able to get the payment holiday for banks, then I would hope that they would be willing to give you a payment holiday. But unfortunately, it's something that you're going to have to negotiate on an individual basis. But I've given you a template that should hopefully make that conversation a little bit easier for you to have. What about debts? I know a lot of us are already in a position where we're trying to manage various debts. We've got car payments coming out, we've got credit card debt, we might have loans. So what can be done in that situation? Okay, the first thing to talk about is actually overdrafts, because from 6th of April, overdrafts change, and you're going to be potentially paying 40% interest, which is double the average amount of interest on credit cards. So it's suddenly huge. So I want to avoid people accidentally getting into more debt because you're using your overdraft and going over your overdraft limit, and all of a sudden you're getting charged 40% interest on that. So if you are in your overdraft, if you're regularly in your overdraft, if you regularly go over your overdraft, if you think that this situation is going to cause you to go into your overdraft, then please get in touch with your bank. I know that some banks, I know HSBC is offering a £300 buffer, so they're increasing the amount of your overdraft just so that you don't go over your overdraft. So you really want to avoid going over your overdraft. So please speak to your bank about increasing the limit of your overdraft so that you never get these interest charges applying. If you have any loans outstanding, if you have credit cards, again, speak to your provider about taking a payment holiday or about them not charging you interest for the next 3 months. So if you can make your minimum repayments, great, but if you can't, please do speak to the banks. They are definitely willing to help you manage debt for the next little while. So please have a chat with them and find out what they can do for you. If you have credit cards, then see if you would be eligible for a 0% credit card just to tide you over. See if you could do a balance transfer so that any existing balances where you're paying a higher rate of credit could come down to 0%, again, just to give you that breathing space for a while. You can go on Money Saving Expert, you can go on Money Supermarket and just see which banks are currently offering a 0% card at this time. And if you're really struggling with debts, if you're worried about what the next few months is going to do in terms of your current debt position, then please look at the advice that stepchange.org has on its website or get in touch with them and they can help you work out payment plans with creditors. They can help you potentially reconsolidate your debt so that it makes it much easier for you. I'd recommend, I know there's a lot going on. I know that we're all juggling loads of different things. If you can, I would suggest that you try and get on top of the debt situation as quickly as possible so that A, any existing debt doesn't get any worse for you, but also B, that it doesn't affect your credit score, because the last thing I would want is for anybody to get into a worse situation now that then affects them in the future when everything is settled down. Okay, this seems like a small one, but actually could be huge for some people. Cancel anything that you don't need right now and that you can get out of. And this literally means going through all of the services that you currently have and just getting rid of anything that you're not going to use and you can't afford for the next 3 to 6 months. And anything where you can get out of the contract, do it, because we don't know what things are going to be like over the next little while. And actually, it's better to get rid, and you can always resubscribe. You can always re-sign up to the gym. You can always resubscribe to some of the services that you get. So cancel anything that you can just to, again, relieve some of that pressure. See what you can do in terms of getting a refund on childcare costs. Now, for most of us, after mortgage and rent, childcare costs are our biggest expense. For some people, they're bigger than mortgage or rent because childcare is so expensive. So given that everybody is now having to stay home, if you're not an essential worker, then see what refund, if you can, you could get on childcare costs, because that could be quite a large amount of money that you would get back. And again, it's very difficult for those who are in the business of offering childcare services. But as an individual, if you are able to get money back, that is going to put you in a better position. Similarly, if you pay for rail fare, tube tickets, bus fares, whatever your travel costs are, if you pay for those in advance, then you may be entitled to get a refund on them. So have a look, see what your train or company is offering, see what TfL is offering, and put in an application to get that money back. And then finally, I know a lot of us are going to be worried about energy bills. See if you can switch to a different supplier, so you can go on USwitch and see if you can get cheaper deals on your energy and other bills. If that's not possible and you're worried about being able to pay your bills, then please speak to your energy or other provider and see what they can do for you. You are not going to be the only person who's getting in touch with them, so they should have packages available they should be able to help you. If they can't, tell me about it and let's see what we can do. Now, I know it sounds trite, but actually, I just wanted to say something that was a little bit reassuring after all of this. We are, most of us, having to stay home. We are, most of us, not able to do very much. That means that you're going to be spending less in terms of discretionary spending. So you're not able to eat out in the same way, you're not able to go out. So that will mean that your outgoings are going to be less than they would otherwise normally be. So when you're thinking about, oh God, I don't have enough money, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay for everything, again, just remind yourself that actually your outgoings over the next couple of months will probably be very different from what you have normally, because actually we're going to be in a situation where we can't spend in the same way that we normally would. So there, you know, your income may be lower, but also your outgoings will probably be lower. And a lot of these major outgoings, rent, mortgage, energy bills, etc., there should be something that you're able to negotiate with your provider to be able to make that a little bit less difficult for you. I'm going to take questions, but I just wanted to say to people that in addition to the advice that we're making available on our website, we're also offering people free financial health checks. So I know that me going through a lot of this information, it's a ton to take in at once. And for a lot of people, it's going to be a case of, okay, that's nice, but I don't actually know exactly how to apply that to my own situation. I don't really know where to start. I don't know where to look for all of these things. If that is you, then we are very happy to walk you through the process. We'll ask you for a limited amount of information so that we can signpost you to the financial support that is most available for your situation. So if that's something that you would like, it's completely free of charge. We're doing it because we're aware that this is quite an overwhelming time for all of us, and there's just a lot of info out there and it's not always clear on how to apply that to our own situation. So if that's you and you would like a financial health check, I need to explain, we are not financial advisors, so we can't help you with anything around pensions or investments or anything that is regulated advice. But what we can do is help you work out where you should start, how you can apply for certain things, where you need to look for various information. And if you would like that, then all you need to do is just drop us an email at hello@lifetise.com, and we'll get back to you and just book you in for a slot and tell you what information that we'll need. It's all completely confidential, and as I say, it's completely free. So if that's something that you would like, then please do get in touch with us. I've raced through this. I appreciate that you probably have questions. So I'm going to take Q&A now. So if you do have a question, let me know through the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. Somebody has asked, would I suggest changing broadband provider? That's a really interesting question. And the reason that I think it's an interesting question is because it's going to depend on what you need, right? So there's going to be like a cost benefit thing that you're going to have to weigh up, because right now, I actually think so. I'm currently with Virgin, and all things considered, I think they've done a really good job at keeping my Wi-Fi up and running. So yes, if you need to switch provider because of cost, absolutely do it, right? If you are with a provider that is good, they've been really reliable, you rely on Wi-Fi speeds to do your work so that you can get paid, then you might want to stay with that Wi-Fi provider. That's just my thought on that. And then somebody has asked about insurance. Now, interesting, car insurance. So do you need to keep car insurance if you're not running your car? Speak to your insurance company on that, because it's going to depend. And what I would hate is for you to cancel any insurances and then you find that you actually need cover, and it costs you more to then reapply. So with all of these things that you're canceling, look at get in touch with them and say, look, if I cancel and then I come back, can you promise me the same terms? And can you promise me that it's not going to impact me in any way? So for things that are like low level subscriptions, right? If you have 4 different TV packages, but actually you can just rely on Netflix, get rid of the others. If it's a gym membership that you know that you're not going to use, then get in touch with the gym and say, look, I'm going to have to put this on pause right now, but can you promise me that when I pick it up, you're not going to penalize me, you're not going to charge me any extra, because I do want to rejoin. So for things where you definitely are going to need it again, get in touch with them and see what you need. And insurance is an important point, and it reminds me that it's something I haven't mentioned. Some of you will have insurance either through your employer or that you have taken yourselves, and whether that is income protection insurance or critical illness cover, something like that, which may cover you for any loss of income during this time period, right? Some of it will only apply if you are incapacitated because you get the coronavirus. Some of it may only apply in certain situations like now, where we're in a lockdown and it's the government mandated lockdown that means that you can no longer provide the services and you've lost all of your clients. So check. So if you are employed, check with your HR team if you have any type of insurance that could cover you during this time period. If you yourself have got life insurance, health insurance, whatever it might be, get in touch with your provider to see what they are offering and to see if they can help you with anything. One caveat to that is that insurance companies don't always pay out. So it will depend on your policy, but it's definitely worth you getting in touch with them to see what it could cover. Somebody else has asked a question, do I have to close my business to apply for job seekers? That's a really good question. Generally, job seekers, that will depend. Get in touch with them and see if they're making any changes to how they're approaching this for people who are only applying because they're having to effectively mothball their business. Generally, the rule would probably be yes, but if you are literally just saying I just can't work under my business for the time being, but I want to be able to pick that up in the future, then they may be willing to change the rules for it. So again, it's just a case of getting in touch with the DWP and seeing if they're relaxing some of the rules, which they are seemingly willing to do at this time. Does anybody have any other questions? Have I covered everything? Is there anything that you'd like me to go over again that didn't make sense, that you didn't get to see on screen? Just let me know. We have a couple more minutes before the end. As I said, I will send you all details of everything that we've covered today. I'll send you a copy of the presentation plus some additional notes so you have access to all of the links that I talked about and to the advice that we've got on the Lifetise site. A recording of this video will be available, and so you can watch it back if you want to. So yeah, any final questions, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up in a second. I really do appreciate you all joining. I know that we are all feeling quite stressed. I hope this has given you just a tiny bit of reassurance that there is help out there. I do know that it's going to take a little while for us all to get everything in terms of claims that we need to make, in terms of the banks making things available. Just know that the help is out there and more should be available tomorrow for self-employed people. And you're not alone. We are all trying to figure this out together, but we will get there. And if anybody has any questions, again, the hello@lifetise.com is the best email to get us on. So if you do have any final questions, then please don't hesitate. We are here for you. We're very, very happy to help in any way that we can. And as I said, if you'd like that individual financial health check so that we can walk you through things on an individual basis, then please do get in touch.